Davonte Adams moves from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders. And when I say I was stunned by this move, I was more surprised that the Green Bay Packers would move off Davonte Adams more than I was Tom Brady retiring from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought once Aaron Rodgers had signed that lucrative extension with the Green Bay Packers, they were going to bring back Davonte Adams 100%, no question about it. But something changed. And I believe that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers front office, as much as they love Davonte Adams, as much as I think Davonte Adams is the best wide receiver in football, they realize, hey, listen, we're losing Zadarius Smith. We are losing precious pieces on our defense. If we pay Davonte Adams 30, 35 million, and Aaron's only going to be here 2 seasons, what is our roster going to look like after Aaron Rodgers? We are going to be in salary cap hell. I think what they realized is there is such great wide receiver talent in this draft. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams from Alabama, Drake London from USC. There's a lot of guys that could go in the second and third round as well. I think what Green Bay realized is there is so much wide receiver talent in this class. They could draft 2 to 3 wide receivers, and if they both or all 3 of them potentially hit, we can fix our wide receiving core and our weapons for Aaron Rodgers overnight. And they're going to be on rookie deals as opposed to $25 to $30 million a year for Davonte Adams. As great as Davonte Adams is, I could understand that logic, but the thing is, Green Bay has to get it right. Because if they go in next season and they do not have a true number 1 wide receiver, they are not going to win the Super Bowl. They're not even going to make it to the NFC Championship game. They will win their division by default, and they will lose in the wild card round in the first round. Listen, folks, the Rams just went out and got Allen Robinson, who I've been preaching for the last couple of seasons, just needs a quarterback to be, in my opinion, a number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League. They already have Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods is coming back now. He's coming off a torn ACL, but we know Robert Woods is one of the most consistent wide receivers in the entire National Football League. Van Jefferson arrived last year as a really great number 3 wide receiver and a really good number 2 for the Rams. You throw Odell Beckham Jr. into that mix, who's looking like he's going to return to the Rams, and he will be back by the time the postseason hits. The Rams' 5 wide receivers right now are all better than the Green Bay Packers. You can make the argument Van Jefferson is the worst wide receiver out of that entire group. He would be wide receiver number 1 in Green Bay right now. That is a scary proposition. And I know they have Aaron Rodgers. We've seen what Russell Wilson has been able to do without the best talent out there. We've seen what these top-tier quarterbacks can do. Top-tier quarterbacks elevate their play. But Aaron Rodgers is a different specimen. He is a different breed. He is not your typical NFL superstar quarterback. Seemingly every other year, he quits on the Packers. He gets buddy with his weapons, where we saw against San Francisco in the playoff game. He only threw to Davonte Adams, and that was it. I believe the only wide receiver they have under contract right now is Allen Lazard. And in my opinion, he's a number 3 or a number 4. He's not even a number 2. And this Green Bay team is going backwards. And they whiffed on the Jordan Love pick. Who knows if they could get a 2nd or a 3rd round pick for that quarterback out of Utah State, number 10, who looked absolutely terrible in the games that we saw him outside of the preseason when he has played football this season. Green Bay is a mess. I mean, Green Bay went from being the number 2 clear favorite in the NFC. And I said, I think the Rams are going to take a step back this year. It's hard to win back-to-back Super Bowl championships. Tampa Bay now has loaded up. They got Russell Gage. It looks like they could go out and get Julio Jones, who just got cut from Tennessee. That is weapons. That is adding to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. In the Rams case, it is adding to Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson and Robert Woods. In Green Bay's case, they have no targets. So Aaron Rodgers, enjoy your $50 million a year. You better hope that the Green Bay Packers draft a phenomenal wide receiver. A Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings, an impact player like that who can come on the scene year one and be a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League. If that is the case, I can understand Green Bay's logic, and I think right there they could win that trade. But if they don't get a number 1 wide receiver, I don't care if you get 3 very good wide receivers. 3 very good wide receivers does not equal the talent Davonte Adams has in his body. Speaking of Davonte Adams' new team now, the Las Vegas Raiders have just loaded up again on an absolutely stacked AFC West. Vegas was not satisfied with making the playoffs last season. Not only did they go out and they upgraded their pass rush, upgrading Unique Ngakoue to Chandler Jones opposite of Max Crosby at that right end spot, but they said, you know what? We have a very good tight end in Darren Waller, top 3 tight end in the National Football League. We have one of the best slot wide receivers in the National Football League in Hunter Renfrow. We have a pretty good running back in Josh Jacobs. We have what we believe to be a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League in Derek Carr. We don't need a first-round pick. Why don't we go out in this division that has gotten super aggressive? The Chargers went out. They got J.C. Jackson at corner. They re-upped Mike Williams to a new deal. They went out and they got Khalil Mack. Denver went out and upgraded at quarterback with Russell Wilson. This is the most competitive division by far in the National Football League. Why don't we go out and get the best wide receiver in football? You take a look at this AFC West now, it's absolutely insane. Best quarterback, I would say, still probably goes to Kansas City. Pass rush, I would say now Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are healthy. I think it goes to the Los Angeles Chargers, but that's no slouch on the Denver Broncos, who now have, Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, who fleeced the Dallas Cowboys, and the Las Vegas Raiders, who have Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. Weapons-wise, Kansas City has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. The Chargers have, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Denver, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. And now you throw in the Las Vegas Raiders with Darren Waller and Davonte Adams. This division is loaded with quarterbacks and it's loaded with wide receiver talent. Now, Vegas's defense, their pass rush is good. Denver's pass rush is good. The Chargers' pass rush is good. None of these secondaries are particularly great. I think with Denver, Justin Simmons, a good safety, Patrick Surtain's a great corner. I think that they would have the best secondary to match up with any of those teams. But it's going to be very interesting because one of these teams, your Denver, Vegas, Chargers, even Kansas City now, it's anybody's division, and one of these teams is more than likely not going to make the postseason with how stacked the AFC is. Josh Allen, all 4 quarterbacks in the AFC West, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, throw in Ryan Tannehill in there. Those are your top 8 quarterbacks. I believe in the conference, it's absolutely loaded. Vegas needed to do something. Credit to Vegas. I don't think it's going to work out for Green Bay. I think they definitely take a step back. The only way it works out for them is if they go get a top 5 wide receiver in this year's draft.